Okay, so good evening, everybody, for tuning in for this week's edition of Cop Talk. Thank everybody else for tuning in. Good evening, Preds. How are you, sir?
I'm delightful, sir. I'm another year older today, so yeah, I've had a couple of Guinnesses, mate, and I'm good.
Good. Well, praise be to you. Good evening,
Thank you.
Con. How are you, sir? Good evening, Con. How are you?
He's missing the mark, isn't
I think he's been drinking some of your Guinness.
he?
And good evening, Tobias. How are you, sir?
I am well. I am well. I am well. Another beautiful day. Long may it
Good.
continue.
Wonderful. So before we start the show, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Cop Talk. Another feature that's taking place today, Tobias. I believe that you are currently live on TikTok. So if you want to show everybody the screen, we're going to say good evening to all of your followers.
So literally, there's how many? There's 30 people on my live right now.
30,000.
No, 30.
30,000. That's lovely. That's perfect.
So literally,
Hello to all you on TikTok. Hello.
So we make it some questions from the TikTok community.
Okay, wonderful.
Oh, brilliant.
That's fine. Okay, so on today's show, we are going to be speaking about two players at our wonderful club that have re-signed contracts. We're going to touch a little bit on Salah and Joe Gomez re-signing their contracts. We are also going to touch on the post-game Manchester United v Liverpool pre-season friendly. We also have another fixture taking place tomorrow versus Crystal Palace. And we're also going to feature something this week about a particular game that we're looking forward to watching this season. Okay. One of the features that will not take place on today's show is our normal quiz. We'll resume that feature for next week. Okay. So I know, Vinny, good evening, sir. I think the last couple of weeks you've actually shown us that you are the new Rain Man. So continue watching this week, and as he said, we'll resume the quiz for next week. But thank you very much for tuning in as well. All right. So yeah, just to touch on our new contracts that have taken place. Salah has obviously signed a new medium-term contract as well. I think he's getting an additional £1 per week, so I think he's quite happy as well at the moment. Preds, what are your thoughts on us retaining Salah and offering the contract that we currently have?
I think I think someone mentioned it last week on the show that we probably know where the money that Mane wanted is probably gone to Salah. But look, he's come in. Since he's been a Liverpool player, he's done exceptionally well, and I'm pleased that he's signed a new contract, and he'll probably see out his career with Liverpool. It doesn't look like it looks like he's evergreen. He's what is he, 30 now? But he looks after himself, and I think he's probably got another good 3 years in him as well. So, look, and he's a match winner, and he's done really, really well for us. He's consistent in his goal scoring. So, all in all, yeah, I'm pleased he's staying.
And what are your thoughts on us? Obviously giving Salah his new contract as well, Tobias.
You're on mute.
It's fine. What are your thoughts on the new contract?
Prez has really kind of summed it up. The money that Salah wanted the money that Mane wanted has gone to Salah. And again, 30 is still very young now in terms of kind of what they now kind of deem as old in the elite side of football. He can go on to 34, 35. And again, let's be real. It's kind of been a long time since like we can kind of talk about winning elite trophies, and Salah's been part of that journey. He's been part of our team. So I can't grumble. He kind of, looks fit. He seems hungry. And again, he's a kind of a very well-oiled clog in Klopp's machine. So anyone that comes in, I'm sure Salah and Henderson will literally tell any kind of tell anyone exactly what is to be expected at Liverpool. So yeah, it's a brilliant thing.
And Con, is your mic back on, Conway? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
So it's just really to extend on your thoughts as well, with obviously Salah re-signing what we classify as a medium-term contract. Correct me, is he our highest or one of our highest paid players at the club now as well?
Yeah,
at the moment.
Yeah, I think he is, but given the two, I think they just had a mixed season for me. I mean, Salah started off well from August to December. Mane weren't all that, and then the roles were reversed the latter part of the season. It's a shame we couldn't keep both of them really and give Mane what he wanted as well. I've probably been happy with that. I mean, James Milner, let's not get sentimental now. He's 36 years old. How much are we giving him a week? And why are we giving him that? I mean, come on. I mean, Henderson was struggling at the end of the season as well. I mean, it's just... Klopp knows what he's doing. I just hope he knows what he's doing.
But you know what, Con, I kind of have to kind of interject respectfully and to say, what James Milner and Henderson kind of give to Liverpool, again, especially with the transition now of the squad. These players are literally Klopp's eyes. And he doesn't have, and literally Klopp doesn't have to repeat himself like over and over again, because when you see Milner, when you see Henderson, when you can see the senior players, kind of go through training and literally how they prepare themselves, on and off the pitch. Sometimes you can't buy that, and giving Milner 100 I don't know, like a new contract, 120, 130. That you can't buy that experience. And again, Milner still finished top in terms of like the fitness tests, and he's 35, 36. So that's a prime example of someone that may not have the kind of natural speed, but like he's still got the kind of the mobility and also the know-how and the knowledge of how Liverpool play. And you can't buy that in the dressing room, especially when times are tough. Because believe you me, this season is going to be hard. So like we need our senior players to stand up and to be counted.
Yeah, but my thing is, look at Ox. Like last season, he didn't really give Ox a chance for whatever reason. Why keep him at the club?
I think it's with Milner, it's a mentality thing. It's like his experience, and you need in your team, you need that kind of structure where you've got the hierarchy of players in regards to respect and experience and X, Y, and Z. He's a role model. He's playing like a role model type of role at Liverpool. And even like we've done it with Jay Spearman, we've got him back to go into the under-23. It's purely for role model purposes. And in all honesty, when if we're winning and we're hanging on, bringing on James Milner is not always a bad thing. He just does me. Sometimes when he comes on, he gets yellow carded straight away, doesn't he? he makes these fouls in areas you're thinking, come on, bruv, not to make a tackle there. But like Caprice said though, his experience and everything like that is priceless to Klopp. I mean, he understands what Klopp wants and how it needs to be operating on the pitch. He's his Henderson and Milner on the pitch is Klopp's eyes and ears, and in generals.
Yeah, I think it was quite interesting with that as well. And I suppose, like you were saying as well, James Milner, I should have added him to the conversation about Salah and Joe Gomez with the extension for the contract as well. I think I'm in two minds over this. I mean, I thoroughly agree with what you were saying about Preds, about his his knowledge, his experience and know-how being in and around the Liverpool squad. I was thinking, I wonder if Leeds had stayed up or whether he would have gone back to Leeds for the last year. I mean, look, the thing is, we're never ever going to know. I just had it in the back of my mind. I just thought if Leeds stayed up, he would have gone there. I think for me, we are giving contracts to 30-year-olds, 30-plus-year-olds. I know Salah is a complete different kettle of fish in terms of how he's conducting himself, and his numbers are absolutely amazing as well. Is that going to ruffle the wage structure of the club? I don't think there's going to be much other players that can probably think that they're going to be on the same amount of money as Salah. You're probably only looking at Van Dijk, and I think he's probably on a handsome pay packet there as well. So other than that, yeah, I suppose I have to be honest.
What did he sign? Did he sign the 1-year contract?
Who's that? Salah?
No, Milner.
It was it was one. Yeah, Milner's was 1 year. So Salah's was 2025, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And Milner signed the 1 year extension on his contract as well. So, maybe one of those things as well with the transition that we're currently making. We have brought in a lot of young players, and we'll probably touch on that in this show or another show, because we brought the young man from Aberdeen. Obviously, we've brought in Cavalier as well. It may well be that some of our younger players do need, as you were mentioning before, some of that role model players, how they conduct and look after themselves in and around the club. So, it is what it is. I'm sure Klopp and the rest of our coaching staff know exactly what they're doing. We do not make mistakes. If we do, it's a very small percentage. So I trust in their judgment on that. So that's Salah's extension.
Yeah. So Salah, with Salah's one, I mean, well, if we're jumping on Salah, I'm quite pleased that he did sign that contract and he's staying. It's a Brucey bonus for me. I mean, he's been consistent in his goal scoring. Mane has as well. I absolutely understand that, and like Con said, I would love of Mane to have stayed. It kind of gets me wondering what was the conversations were taking place. Why did they not want to offer Mane money, or what he wanted to stay? Because Liverpool effectively had the two best inside forwards in the world.
That's correct. Yeah, I suppose at some stage he'll bring his book out and we'll find out. We've got somebody new tuning in today. Thank you very much. We have Jordan Hynan, LFC. Good evening, sir. Tuning in for the first time as well. So welcome to the show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as well. We completely appreciate you joining the show. So we've had Salah signing the contract, and somebody who's featured as part of the show as well. I know Artie touched on this player a few weeks ago and obviously spoke about the period of time that he's been at the club, and was quite articulate in saying there was reasons for him remaining, but also moving on for the club. Joe Gomez is currently 25. What do? We bought him in 2015. He signed an extension to 2027. What are your thoughts on that signing as well, or the contract extension for Joe Gomez? How do you think he's going to feature us this season and moving forward? Preds, if I can open the floor to you first there, sir.
Yeah, again, I think I've said it some weeks ago in the show previously. Gomez, it's a good thing, first and foremost. It's a good thing that he signed a contract extension. I do believe that people probably jump down my throat by saying this, but I mean, he could potentially not be as good as VVD, but you can't get any better than playing alongside VVD. And you've got to remember, them two were the mainstay of our title-winning team in regards to at the back four. And if Gomez didn't, unfortunately, get that injury that he'd got, I don't think I wouldn't have been able to see any other first-choice centre-half pairing, Gomez and VVD. It just so happens that Gomez got injured and then Matip just stepped up and his performances have got better and better and better. And then you've got Konate. So look, I think we're in good hands in regards to centre halves. We've got good depth. And if Gomez has signed a contract extension, then somewhere along the line, he believes that he can compete for a first 11 slot. And it's ultimately, it's against VVD. It's going to be VVD and one other.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, I
know,
agree
so
with you.
you know, if he signed that length of contract, then he's had that conversation with Klopp, and he's also had conversation with his people as well. And like I said, I think he believes that he's got a career, exciting career at Liverpool FC, and long may it continue.
Yeah. Con, what are your thoughts on the extension here with Joe Gomez for us?
I really like the guy. I do like him. It's just like what Prez said. He was doing really well. Other than that injury, I just think he must lack confidence, because 1 minute it was between you and Matic, who's going to partner Virgil, and then you got injured. Then Klopp's brought another centre back, and you just gone down that pecking order. I do admit, against Man United, I know the sides, but he just had an absolutely nightmare. Really, he had a really bad nightmare. But it's just one game, really. I thought he'd be more authority to tell Matt Phillips where to go and what to do and everything. He just had a nightmare. Look, it was only one game. I'm not going to judge him on that. He's done well in the past for us, and let's hope he steps up another level.
Yeah, thanks. And last to Bryce, your thoughts on the Gomez contract extension?
I mean, so he'll be at the club over a decade, and I can't believe it's 2015. He's
2015 we bought him.
So we've kind of spoken about him before. I do tout him as some sort of leader in that dressing room. Do I see him as a captain? I don't know, but but like he must have some sort of qualities for them to offer such a huge extension. And again, he kind of believes in his ability, and he probably would have had the pickings of anyone in the top 10 Premiership clubs. So for him to sign is a great thing. I do like Joe. Before his injury, he was kind of part of the national team's starting 11, not even your squad, starting 11, and again playing beside Van Dijk, will only improve him. But yeah, again, it's a great long-term signing. Again, it kind of it just kind of states that we do value our kind of long-term players that have kind of committed to us, and again, like, it cannot be a bad apple if he's if he's been offered such a long contract. So it's only a good thing.
Yeah, 100%. And as you said, I think that the thing with Joe Gomez, even though he primarily plays centre back, we have to remember as well he can play right back and also left back. So I think similar to last season, we will be pushing on all four fronts. We'll be going for the league, Champions League, League Cup, and FA Cup as well. So the fact that we'll still have a strong or stronger squad, I think, is only going to hold us in good stead as well. Vinny's made a brilliant comment as well. Vinny, we appreciate that. He said, I think Klopp would have told Gomez if he didn't have a space for him in the squad. And I think we've always probably had that transparency as well. And probably before he signed the contract, I'm confident that he probably would have spoken to Klopp and obviously had a realistic idea of how he'll feature this season and moving forward. So it's all a blessing to us as well. Yeah. So I think that's perfect.
And
go ahead.
And like one thing, and actually, if you kind of go down like the elite teams within the Premiership, or probably even world football, like the biggest thing that players say about their managers is that they've been transparent with them and they've been honest in terms of their playing ability and actually what they've got to improve on. You've seen it with Lampard and Jose, even John Terry with Jose. We've seen it with the great United team with Arsene Wenger, and now we're seeing it with like Klopp, how he kind of says exactly what he means. Like there's no just like everything is just out in the open, and and again, that's what football is also
Yeah.
about. It's about communication, being transparent, being like very candid with your players. Because if the players don't believe in terms of what you're saying, they're not going to play for you. Like we've seen with the demise of United. So yeah. Again, credit to Klopp, and also thank you again, Gomez, for signing.
But don't you think that everything's kind of gone down a kind of a domino effect, because it all started with Klopp actually agreeing a new contract? So when you've got your manager who you've been running through brick walls for the last 3 or 4 years, and good things are going on, and it's a good place to be. We're doing well, we're successful, we're competing, and then obviously remember that was that period where everyone was like, okay, what's Klopp going to do next? He hasn't signed a contract. Is he going to retire? And then, in the brilliant man in himself, he just then, out of the blue, right, I've signed a new contract. And now all of a sudden you're getting that trickle of players who are now saying, right, we now know where the club's going, because we now know Klopp's going to be here for the next X, Y, and Z years. And I think that kind of was what actually started the momentum of all this, the contract extensions going out.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, I think I thoroughly agree with you on that. So we had the opportunity to play our first preseason friendly against Manchester United. I think it was quite interesting because for me, when it comes to this stage of the season, regardless of what team it is, I always think back, and I'm not trying to say that I was born when it was black and white, but at this stage of the season, these games were never ever televised. So I think for me, regardless of whether it's Liverpool playing Man United or Chelsea playing Preston or Wolves playing Accrington Stanley, I think a lot of these games are usually about rhythm, match fitness, looking at different ideas, looking at players' mentality as well, and looking at squad depth. So as I said, we played against Man United on Tuesday. I think it's interesting going into this game. I think the only player that I was looking forward to actually seeing, which is really, really, really strange, was Carvalho. I don't know. There's something about this young man from Fulham that I'm quite excited about. I'm not going to say that he's going to be a world beat or anything, but I know there's a complete difference between the Championship and the Premiership, but the amount of goals that he contributed to for Mitrovic last season, I must admit I was absolutely elated when I knew that we were linked with him, and even happier when we did actually sign him. So I think going into this season, he's going to be my player that I'm going to be focused on as well. Did anybody have the opportunity to actually watch the United Liverpool fixture at all?
Yeah, I watched it. Some things I just didn't. I know it's pre-season friendly, but I just couldn't understand why Klopp started people like Matt Phillips. I mean, I know he's a squad member. Is he going to start it? Is he going to be in a league game? No, I don't think he will start a league game. I didn't understand people like him. What was it? Him starting? I thought that Liverpool, being we was playing Man United, should have started with a stronger squad. Really. The times he brought the other players on, Liverpool like 3-0 down. Who wants to come on when you're 3-0 down,
Do you think, you see with Phillips, he's probably in the same, for me, I see Matt Phillips saying, so I see Phillips and David's probably being in the same position. So we're looking at the transfer window closing on the 1st of September. Do you think they're playing to possibly get a loan move out? I can't see them being sold. I can see them probably playing to get a loan move out. If Phillips remains with us for this season, I see him getting half a minute for the whole season. I do not see him featuring. I know we've purchased him, but I think he's actually playing one for the purpose of squad. So, like in training, we're playing 11 aside. He's on the other side. You've got an A-team, B-team. But I see him probably playing in terms of the possibility of him being loaned out. Thoughts, gents?
Yeah.
He's got no pace. He's got no pace. I mean, like I know some other centre backs in the past doesn't have no pace, but his positioning was awful and everything. I just thought, why would you take him on loan? Why would anyone buy him? Really, I think Liverpool could get something for him. Just sell him at a cut price, really.
Yeah, I think you know what with Matt Phillips. Look, he came in at a time when we were struggling for centre halves, and by hook or by crook, he done a job for us and got us over the line for the Champions League. So he's contributed fantastically in that way. Will he get? I agree with you totally, Stoney. He won't get half a minute in the first team. Why he started against Man United the other day? It's pre-season. People gonna, people gonna get minutes under their belt. Maybe other centre halves wasn't fit enough to start the game because remember Man United started a week prior to us, prior to this game, or a week prior to everyone else coming into pre-season, and then you could see that in the game. We was 2 or 3 yards off, but if you actually look at it, the girl had to make 2 or 3 saves. We've hit the woodwork 2 or 3 times, and it just so happened that, and I loved what Klopp said in the press conference. He said we made mistakes, and quite rightly we got punished for them. And I thought that comment there was like, right, okay, he's now just he's probably chucked a seed in there to say, right, you now know we need to buck up. You can't be making those. But if you look at the team, we had 2 youngsters at fullback. Carvalho, we had the 2 youngsters in midfield alongside Henderson, and then you had Carvalho playing as well. So, but then I just think, you know what, if Ten Hag, he named a very strong side to start, but you got to be honest, they need all the confidence they can get. And I think he put a strong side out, and Klopp's not under that. Klopp, in regards to squad selection, he's not under that pressure. He knows what he's got,
true.
And he knows what he's doing in regards to the structure of pre-season. Remember, they haven't just like turned up and gone, right, this is what we're going to be doing. This has been planned well in advance, months in advance. So I've had Man United supporters. Text me and going, "Yeah, look, we beat you," and I'm like, well, I'll take the loss. I'll take the loss, right? To do back to back to take 6 points off them again next season.
And I agree with you as well. I think it was one of those things as well. We were able to feature a lot of our young players as well, different positions, game time, rhythm. So personally, I haven't read too much into it. Just a point before Tobias mentioned something, Con, just want to get his feedback on the game as well. Going back to Nathaniel Phillips, I think the interesting thing is, I can't remember, when did we buy him? I think it was 2018, 2019. He's been out on loan twice to Stuttgart, and he was also out on loan at Bournemouth last season, and Bournemouth actually got promoted, didn't they? So it'll be interesting to see whether he actually goes out on Bournemouth, goes back out on loan to Bournemouth, or whether they actually make a bid for him. I think that'll be quite interesting. I'm just planting a little seed out there, Jurgen, if you're listening to me. That might be something worth looking at. All right. So sorry, Tobias, what was your feedback on the United game, if you had an opportunity to see it?
Well, I mean, with like Nat Phillips, you've literally just taken that right out of my mouth in terms of like the Bournemouth thing. I think if Bournemouth were interested, they would have snapped him up by now to really integrate him into Bournemouth. I think the game, hey, you know what? Yes, we lost against United. I think no one really wants, not as a professional, like you don't want to lose 4-0 regardless of who it is, especially to like United. We did have chances. Diaz looked energetic and like fresh. Man United looked completely different, but again, also as well, Reece Williams hasn't played a lot for like us, and like he like came in and he looked very, very leggy. But you look at the amount of games that like we played last season, and also now you literally kind of almost have to look at the squad depth. you know, against a United team. You know, they're not the best, but you know, again, that could be a subliminal message to the board and say, yeah, you know, yes, I know that you've backed me, but we need a few more. But when I again look at the whole thing, there's, you know, the only people that win from this is a Premier League. You know, Manchester United, Liverpool in Asia, just crazy amounts of money, crazy amounts of fans, fanatic fans. So, you know, it's a Premier League that wins with a fixture like that, more than like anyone else. But yeah, fitness. Let's see what they can do when the season starts. Yeah, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. You know, back in the day, right? None of these top clubs never played each other.
Thank you. That's
like,
so
you know
true.
What I mean? Like they
That's
never
so
played
true.
each other, and that's what. And I think Tobias has hit the nail on the head. The nail on the head in regards to it's all money. Like it's this.
Yeah.
You know, going out there and playing our closest, well, not our closest rivals, but a rival nonetheless in the Premier League. We play them. You know, to go out and play this game against them. We're playing Palace again. Tomorrow. I mean, like, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I have to think about what I'm going to say because it's just like money orientated. It's just like money orientated. It's all like, we can do this, we can do that. But it's like, you know, is it traveling all the way down there? Is it going to benefit the players in regards to, you know, jet lag and hours in the plane? And, you know, I know it's going to be beneficial because they're training in a hot country. And it's warm weather training, but yeah, man, it's a bit weird, man. Don't work, man.
I think it's one of those things where you have to probably tick the box for all of the sponsors, and because we're such a, you know, obviously we got, you know, global following, it's probably an opportunity for fans and anybody living out in some of the other countries to actually see our players in real life. So I get it, I understand completely what you said, Preds, but I suppose it's one of those things as well. Good evening, Mr. Ferreira, tuning in for the first time. Deeply appreciate your comments. He's mentioned about, well, actually, Vinny, prior to that, he said he has to take a double take when he sees Carvalho playing. He just reminds him of Coutinho. I wonder if that's what it is, why I like Carvalho. I absolutely loved when Coutinho played for us. I understand why he moved on. We got a nice little pay packet, and unfortunately, his career did a nosedive after that. But maybe that's what it is about Carvalho. We've actually got a player who can actually break the lines with the ball. When we signed Ox, in my own head, I probably thought Ox would be a player to actually drive and break the lines for various reasons. That hasn't happened, but you could be right, Mr. Vinny, about Carvalho. As I said, he's my player that I'm going to be looking out for this season. I got a soft spot for him. So, yeah, I agree with you. But, yeah, once again, as you said, thank you very much, Mr. Ferreira, for tuning in. He was saying it is what it is about pre-season friendlies. We have an opportunity to see some players that we wouldn't normally see, some of our academy players, some of our youth players as well. So, yeah, brilliant. Bring it on. I definitely appreciate that as well. Harvey Elliott's back as well for this season. How do you see him featuring one of our young Scarlets?
You know what? Like, is he? I know Klopp's playing him in the midfield, like, you know what I mean. And I've always got. I'm thinking to myself, but I thought he came to Liverpool as a understudy to Salah, like a potential, a potential understudy and a next logical step when Salah eventually leaves, that Harvey Elliott will then take that slot. But then he's been playing in midfield, like as the number 8, talking to, like what you're saying, breaking the lines from midfield. So it's keeping me on my toes in regards to how Klopp is developing him, like the development, process. I mean, like I said, he played that Blackburn on loan on the right to go inside. Yeah. You know, he's played for Liverpool a few times, but then recently he's been playing. And I'm intrigued with that. I'm intrigued.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. We'll see how that develops. What are your thoughts on Harvey Elliott, Cod, and how he's progressing with us at the moment?
He started, he was in and out of the team. Then he was having a good running the team. Then I think was it the Leeds game he got injured, didn't he?
Injured, yeah.
What a bad
Yeah,
injury
yeah,
that was.
yeah. I mean, he was progressing very well, and just since that injury, he's coming back. But I was impressed with him up until that big injury. I was very impressed with him, really.
Yeah.
Just like
And
what
again,
Dale said, that I didn't think he was brought in as a centre midfield, but he seems to be, he can do a job in both, really, can't he?
Yeah. Great credit to him as well. I'm happy we've got him. So I think there's only one sour point from the fixture that we played against Manchester United, and it was news obviously about Jota's injury. I don't work for Liverpool FC, unfortunately, so I'm not too sure what the extent of his injury. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. Is anybody managed to read any news on what's happened to Jota after the game and any feedback on what his injury is about?
No.
It
I
came.
do. Sorry, go on, Con.
No, go on, Dale. Go on, Dale. Go on,
No,
please.
all I'm saying, I do believe it's a reoccurrence of his hamstring injury that he had last season,
Right.
which was out. He was out, and it's just a reoccurrence of that. So, like you say, we don't know the extent of the injury. So you know, hamstrings, you've got different grades of kind of injury. So we don't. They haven't made public the severity of the hamstring, but yeah, it's that. And I'm hearing Alison Becker as well, may be injured as well.
Okay.
Which is something that's kind of I read earlier on today. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But yeah, that'll be a concern.
Okay, this is what I got about Jota. Jota has suffered a setback in recovering from a hamstring injury. Jurgen Klopp fears the 25-year-old may have aggravated the problem as picked up as an international duty with Portugal last month on his return to training on Wednesday. Speaking at the Singapore National Stadium while the Reds face Crystal Palace in a pre-season friendly on Friday, Klopp told the club official website, Diogo is very unlucky and will not be involved against Man United because of his injury. He's got to the end of the season. He's trained yesterday fully and got injured again. So that's really not cool, but we have to wait for the results. He had further assessments in the morning, so we have to see. Asks if the hamstring issue was the same area. The German replied, "It's the same region, yes."
Right. Okay.
And meanwhile, Klopp's revealed that Alison Becker is also doubtful. Ali wasn't 100%. He finished the season early, was doing the warm-up and felt something. We have to wait and see. I pretty think much all the others are fine. That's it, really.
Fine. Okay. All right. We wish him all the best as well. Anyway, for that. So tomorrow we are playing Crystal Palace in our second pre-season friendly. It'll be interesting to see how they feature. As he said, it is what it is. We've actually been quite honest and transparent about what we think pre-season friendlies are to us. I think Palace have probably made one signing this season. I believe they bought a midfielder this season, and Conor Gallagher's gone back to Chelsea as well. I think Crystal Palace under Vieira, I think they played some lovely football last season. Well, they got a nice young team, and the way that he's been able to make a complete transition to how they play offensively as well, from Roy to how they got playing now, I think it's obviously a credit to Vieira, all of his coaching staff and the players down there at Crystal Palace. Is anybody going to have the opportunity to tune in and watch that game tomorrow at all?
Yeah, I'll watch it tomorrow.
I'll watch it tonight. Yeah, I'll watch it tomorrow. I've got 3 weeks off of work, so I've got to put my feet up and do something.
All right. So as he said, look, we're not going to read too much into that game tomorrow. As you said, it's a pre-season friendly. I think for me, my main thing is that no players from either team get injured tomorrow. We have an opportunity to see some more of our young players. Make sure we got our rhythm together, and then we'll see how we take it from there. Maybe something when we feature next week Thursday that we do a little post-game analysis on that game. So prior to the show, We were presented with a new feature for the show as well that I thought we'd probably mention about. I'm going to put everybody on a spot here. With the fixtures obviously being released now, is there one fixture that you are looking forward to this season? So while you're thinking about it, I'm just going to read some of the comments and then I'll come back to you. So keep that in mind. Is there one fixture that you're looking forward to this season and why? All right. So we've got Vinny giving us some more comments, obviously mentioned about him looking forward to Harvey Elliott. Mr. Ferreira obviously mentioned about us traveling is to do with finance over in Thailand and Australia. And Mr. Solo, thank you very much, sir. Always supports us behind the scenes and obviously a main feature on the Man United Agenda show as well. So thank you very much for commenting how much people are in the chat at the moment. So my question was, what fixture this season are you looking forward to and why?
I'm looking at the Breeze, right? I'm looking at the Breeze, and Breeze has got. He's been thinking for a while. So I would let him go first, right?
All right, that's
I can
fine.
see the clogs going in his brain.
That's fine then, Mr. Tabriz, your fixture for this season and why? Let's hear it.
He looks like he's a philosopher, and he's like, yeah, he's thinking.
I'm gonna say Chelsea.
Okay.
Of course, the reason being, we kind of won the 2 domestic competitions via penalties. So again, that margins were really, really close. And Chelsea have kind of gone out and spent a lot of money on Sterling. They've literally, of course, shipped out Lukaku. So again, it'd be quite interesting to see how the dynamics change there.
Okay.
And I feel that Chelsea are going to be, again, like a team that are going to be hot on the heels of ourselves and also Man City. And with Tuchel as well, with the money now that's there, where Chelsea finished last season, well, it's not even just where, but it's just the manner of how they really tailed off. I think that's really, really, really going to hurt him. And again, signing Sterling, that's a statement of intent.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see a new Chelsea, something that's gonna possibly shock a lot of people. And I think Liverpool, as it knows, we can have to be careful of like Chelsea, and like we always have amazing games anyway, Champions Leagues, domestic competitions, and even in the league. So Chelsea at Stamford Bridge,
perfect,
on a either on a Monday night or let's always at the best atmospheres.
All right. So Tobias is Chelsea away Sunday the 8th of September. By then they may have purchased Koulibaly as well, so that will be actually quite interesting as well. Before I come to Prez or Con, good evening, Mr. Monday, for tuning in. I think he was saying that his game is probably the United fixture. Surprise, surprise. That's fine. I mean, what we can probably do, Mr. Monday, if that's the case, hopefully we'd welcome either yourself, Mr. B, or Solo to come on Cop Talk, or we'll be more than happy to come on your show post and pre-game, and we can share some really good opinions and content as well about that fixture. So Preds or Conway, who would like to go next? What game are you looking forward to this season and why?
Go on, Con.
I would like the Tottenham game. Being that when we played them before, Andy Robson got sent off, and then Mane, there was a subject, should Mane got sent off. Harry Kane should have got sent off that game. That game ended a draw. I think Klopp had COVID that day, didn't he? And I think his assistant.
That's correct.
Yeah, and then obviously the 1-1 with Son thingy. So I just want us to play Tottenham. I don't care where it is. It's just like just need to play them. I just need to play Tottenham.
I love that.
That's
so we've
game.
got We got Tottenham Saturday the 5th of November. That'll be a good one as well, Con. And that's a 3:00 kickoff. So we've got Chelsea away, we've got Tottenham away, and Preds, what is your fixture that you're looking forward to this season and why?
Mate, there are so many to talk about. So many. And I'm trying to literally just go scrolling down and thinking, yeah, it could be that game. And I've scrolled up and gone, oh, I don't know, And like what you're saying with Fabrice is right, Chelsea, they're revamped and they're going to be coming with something new. And remember, they're the only team in Liverpool. They're the only team Liverpool didn't score against.
Yeah.
And even the two home and away, plus the League Cup final as well. We weren't.
Excuse me. We did score against them 2-2.
2-2. Sorry,
yes.
2-2. Sorry,
yes,
yeah. All right,
yes,
so 2-2.
yes,
so
yes.
it adds to my comment, right? That there was nothing to give, and we couldn't. They at times I was quite finger Chelsea because they seemed to open us up a little bit. And it was like a bit of a basketball game. So yeah, you are looking forward to Chelsea, but that's not my game, by the way. Con's absolutely right with Tottenham, right? Tottenham revamping. I've got to be honest, mate. They'll be lucky if they can actually. They will be all running like they've got Duracell batteries in them, because you see their running that they were doing and how they reacted in the press. They were on the floor. They done this They run 74 lengths of the pitch. All right, so they're going to come out and they're going to be on turbo. But that's not my team. That's not my fixture.
Okay. Go.
That's not my fixture. I do, even though Man City, Chelsea are going to come back, I do believe that the games between Liverpool and Man City will play a defining factor in regards to who's going to. I still believe that Man City and Liverpool are the two driving forces at the moment in the Premiership as the two who are likely to win it. Not to say that there's going to be someone from like a Tottenham or like a Chelsea who might throw a span in the work. But at the moment, Liverpool and Man City have got settled squads. Even though we've made one or two signings, we've both still got that settled structure. And with Chelsea and with Tottenham, they're still trying to find their groove. You know what I mean? They're still trying their momentum as a team. Whereas Liverpool and Man City have got it. So you can't go against that big colossal thing. And you can't. And by the way, you can't forget the Everton game either. I mean, look, that's just. So there's so many games, but my game, Man City.
Okay, so we got the Man City, we've got Chelsea, and we've got Tottenham. So you're right, we got Everton at home. That's an early kickoff, Saturday, 3rd of September, 12:30. So I don't know whether everybody would be able to get their bevies in before then. My fixture is the Man City fixture, Saturday, the 15th of October at home. I don't know, in a strange way, you know what? Probably similar to you guys as well. I know it's going to be close. I just want to see how we fare against Haaland. I'm happy that he's signed for Man City. I know we were never ever in a running for him. I actually wanted to see how he plays in the Premiership. So for me, I'm looking forward to Saturday, the 15th of October, Liverpool at home against Man City. That is the game I'm looking forward to. I want to see how Haaland fits in. I want to see how Calvin Phillips fits in at Man City. And they bought, well, it's obviously to see whether Alvarez is going to play for them. But yeah, Haaland, Calvin Phillips, come into Anfield. That's the game that I'm looking for. Haaland versus Van Dijk. That's going to be the game.
Oh, right. That's a heavyweight. That's heavyweight.
That's like Hulk Hogan in WrestleMania coming back. Is going to be.
I feel the Undertaker song coming down. It's just that's just like, come on, that's pound for pound. Haaland versus Virgil. Like, oh, my hairs are standing up.
And also by then, we, like anything else, all teams would have had an opportunity. Premiership starts much earlier this season as well. But teams would have had an opportunity to settle in. We would have got the rhythm. Both teams would have had the rhythm playing as well. A lot of Premiership games underneath our belt. but that is the game I'm looking for. So we've got Man City, we've got Chelsea, and we've got Tottenham. That is the absolute beauty of Cop Talk. We've got valid opinions, we've got valid thoughts, and it all just marries into a perfect show.
And you know what? And the next one is, and there's another game, Man United. Can't wait for that game because we're going to give them lash.
Yeah. I know. I wish I could say I was looking forward to that game.
They're not relevant anymore.
I know. We got them so early as well. We got them on the
22nd.
22nd.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not relevant anymore. Seriously, Man United is not relevant to me anymore. I can't even. I know people say I just don't even answer them. They're not relevant anymore. Seriously, they're not relevant anymore. They're not relevant.
You know it is. No, I know what you mean. They Man United is like if you get on a train and there's a £1 coin on the floor, you're looking at it and thinking, but it's safe because I got racks in my pocket, so that £1 coin don't mean nothing. That's what Man United are, in it. They're just irrelevant.
Yeah, it's not relevant
Kick
anymore.
them off the train, man. so
you know what I mean? It's funny because Vinny has just kind of come and said that Spurs are going to be the real spoilers of this season. I think they're going to be a part of the race. I really do believe so. And again, like Conte has literally got them doing everything that they can possibly do. And again, Conte is a winner. And again, just to throw out another fixture that no one's really even talking about is the Newcastle fixture. I think Newcastle under Eddie Howe, I mean, he proved me wrong. I thought they were destined to be relegated, but it kind of got them playing decent football, got them up to 10th, and I think there was a stat as if the league started in Christmas, Newcastle would have been in the top 3 or something like something ridiculous like that. But again, now with a whole preseason, I don't know if they've made any signings, but again, like the signings that they've made, they've seemed to to have settled down. And again, they also have the money, so that
but their fans they with Newcastle again. I think they are one who could do a Leicester but Leicester with huge amounts of money to come in and take the league by storm. I still believe in football that you still have that period of that bedding in period, and Newcastle could possibly make a really good start. It all depends on their start. If they make a really good start, then they can build on that momentum. But I still believe that they're going to be hit and miss. But I'm surprised at that stat saying that they would have been in the top 3 after Christmas with their form. I'm really surprised and actually thankful that we actually went there and got a result, didn't we? So, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be
I'll tell you one thing we're all forgetting about this season. This season is going to be the strangest season ever because I think when the World Cup's going to stop, and I think that's going to come into play to some players because, like, I know what people. I understand what you guys are saying about Spurs, but you have to remember with Spurs, there's no backup. Harry Kane, if he's fit, he's going to play every game. When England goes in the World Cup, he's going to be playing. He's the golden boy. All right, the sponsors want him playing. So regardless of England, he's going to be playing England in the World Cup and everything. I just think that the knock-on effect. I think it's going to be very. We're going to have a few surprises because some players could get injury at clubs, 2 or 3 from the World Cup, and fatigue and everything like that. I think it's going to be a very strange season.
And so both valid points about Tottenham as well. I mean, some wonderful comments as well in the feed, speaking about the way that Conte's obviously got they're up in the work rate at Tottenham. I think that's going to be interesting to see how Tottenham manage this season. 1, their squad's not very big, and 2, even though they're having this new fitness regime at Spurs, they can easily burn themselves out if they're not used to it. Remember the first season that Klopp was with us, and he was playing that high tempo, and then even though I know it was early stages, to the latter part of that season, we almost completely dipped, didn't we? We were running on fresh air. So it's going to be interesting to see how Tottenham fare in that sense. Personally, I want them to blow themselves up by Christmas and Arsenal to finish on top of them. That's just my personal opinion. So anybody in the feed that supports Tottenham, this praise be. I just have to be honest there. And the stat that you're mentioning about Newcastle, that's also a valid point. I remember something as well. When they actually went on their surge, they were without Callum Wilson, you know. I remember he was their main player as well, if you're talking like offensively. So you're right. Eddie Howe's obviously steadied the ship. They seem more solid as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they feature this season. Personally, as long as all of the rest of the teams finish below us this season, I don't mind. I want some amazing games. I want some controversy. I don't want any of our players to get injured, and I just want us to finish the season happy with lots and lots and lots of silverware. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though. I'll tell you what's Tony. Right? There's a good point in the chat. Jose Ferreira, he's chucked in and said about the 2020 World Cup. What do you think will happen what happened with the players who are not playing that competition? And that's quite a kind of that's a good question, because it's like, if you're not going to the World Cup, what do you do? Like
you rest, innit?
That's excellent.
Yeah,
Valid
but I mean, the World Cups are 4 weeks, and is that right? For 4 weeks, a World Cup. So I mean, they're not going to rest for the 4 weeks. So they'll probably
pre-season. They're going to have friendlies. I bet you they're going to have friendlies.
There'll be.
Now, here's my thing. Like, here's my thing. Trent goes to the World Cup. Okay, he's like, we all know he's not gonna. I don't think he's going to be in the starting 11 for England. So he's on the sub bench. Now, is that doing his confidence any good? I know he's a professional, but he's playing for Liverpool. They go to the World Cup. He's on the bench. He's not getting no game time. How do you think he's going to handle players like him? Actually. No, it must have some effect. You're starting your games for your club, and then you're just like on the bench. You've got it's not even around the corner. Do you know what I mean? It's in the Middle East, isn't it?
But you see, the reason why you're saying that, Con, is because there's a break in the season. So for Trent to come back and try and pick up pace again, it's going to be pretty hard for like any squad player. Like look at Connor Cody. That probably doesn't play for England, but he'll be in the squad. And there's probably other like players that are captains and stalwarts at their clubs, but don't get a look in at their respective national teams. I think in terms of fitness, in terms of like the players that like, okay, so I know Salah isn't going to the World Cup, so I'm sure with any elite team they have the strength and conditioning machines, not even just coaches now, they have machines to make sure that they're still in tip-top shape. I'm sure that they'll have something to do to make sure that they're like still at their levels when the kind of World Cup comes back. But again, we're like looking at if it's in Qatar. It's a crazy journey anyway to actually get there. So of course, body clock, exactly what Con says. Mentality. There's confidence. There's like a lot of things that are going to play quite differently in this season.
But it's going to be interesting though, because you've got to think about it. We've touched upon what the players are going to be doing, who ain't going to the World Cup. But then you've got the players who have gone to the World Cup, and then they come back. So what type of shape are they going to be in?
That's true.
They've been training for 4 weeks or whatever, 4 weeks, because they're going to be getting together prior to the World Cup. So they're going to be training and playing matches in a country which is going to be really, really, temperature is going to be really, really hot. So then to come back to the UK, come back to the Premiership, it's going to be a situation. Will it be like what happened with Salah and Mane, where they've come back and all of a sudden the energy levels have gone because they've played in this tournament? So that's the worry. That's going to be another worry as well.
But like if So there's Salah and Diaz that are not going.
Yeah,
So,
Salah and Diaz not going.
Yeah, so literally, I would say those two are probably our most dynamic and the players that are going to be like I'll go for it in the Premiership. So in a roundabout way, you know, hey, like it's kind of a good thing that they're going to have a bit of a rest.
Exactly, and Darwin Nunez won't be going either.
There you go.
Oh, well, see, every negative is a positive. See,
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Here's something then. Here's something. After the World, say someone has, because you know in the World Cup, someone always stands out, someone off our radar, and will clubs be going? No, like in January, we going for that individual player.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on. Sorry, go on.
Does Klopp normally sign players in January?
We've done it. Suarez. We've done it. Suarez and Diaz.
We don't normally have the World. We don't normally have the World Cup. We don't normally have the World Cup in December. So this year, it's like I said, it's going to be a very strange. It's going to be a strange season.
Yeah,
I think the Championship stop football as well, don't they? All football stops, don't they?
Yeah, they will. It's the global calendar is adjusted in all countries. I think that's a wonderful point as well about the World Cup, and I think what we'll do, we'll obviously speak off camera and see if we can actually make sure that we feature that as one of our main points in the show as well, building up to the World Cup, what impact it will have on teams when we all return as well. I'd just like to thank everybody once again for tuning into the show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Preds, thank you very much for joining us today. Deeply appreciate that, sir.
All good, mate. All good in the hood.
And also on your birthday as well. So happy.
That's what I'm saying.
Happy birthday.
I was just about to say it as well. Much, happy birthday. Whatever you're doing for the rest of the evening, I hope that it's joyous and it's filled with happiness.
Well, this glass will be filled with Guinness, so
good.
Jesus, they got the Guinness and black currant coming shortly.
I can only thank you for joining us again, to Bryce, and also as well for allowing us to say a good evening to all of your TikTok fans as well.
Oh,
Thanks very much for that.
Hello.
We appreciate it.
Bryce's TikTok people.
Yeah, actually, Jose's from my TikTok. So again,
wonderful.
Thank you, Jose, for that coming on.
Thank you, we appreciate that, and thank you very much for tuning in as well, Con. I know we only see you on the audio. The main thing for anybody tuning into the show, Con is famous. He does not wish for anybody to see his face because he does not wish to be giving out any autographs.
He's got those model features.
It's one of those things. But Con, thanks very much once again for tuning in.
Yeah, big up, I tell you. I big up.
Yeah, so everybody, don't forget, tune in next week Thursday at the same time for Cop Talk at 10 p.m. Like, share, subscribe, and don't forget, you can also rerun and watch the show again. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Be safe, and we see you all next week Thursday. Bye.
All the best. Take it easy.